felt like an idiot not playing him. But in a 40-minute game, you can't play more than 10. You really can't.
Meaning defending NBA champion Jayson Tatum, and you can't find minutes.
The 2024 Olympics are officially underway, and Team USA's basketball team is surrounded by drama. If it wasn't Kawhi Leonard just dropping out before the Olympics started, or the controversial decision to add Derek White over Jaylen Brown, now there's questions about why Joel Embiid is performing so terribly, and what is Steve Kerr doing with these rotations. So we have a lot to discuss. Before we get to the content, we are so close to 1 million subscribers. Make sure you're subscribing and turn on our notifications to help the channel grow. Now that we get all that out of the way, cue the intro. Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? Jayson Tatum, a guy who made first team All-NBA in each of the last 3 NBA seasons, wasn't part of the Team USA rotation in their first game versus Serbia. Now, the media absolutely destroyed Steve Kerr over this decision, with people even questioning why he sat Tatum in the first place. Well, Kerr responded to these concerns in the most Steve Kerr way possible.
Yeah, it's tough, but Jayson handled it really well. I talked to him today before the game that it may play out this way, just with Kevin coming back and the lineups that I wanted to get to. Felt like an idiot not playing him, but in a 40-minute game, you can't play more than 10. You really can't.
I gotta admit, this is quite comical. Steve Kerr literally hopped in an interview after a 26-point blowout and called himself an idiot. Only Steve Kerr, as bad as he has been as Team USA's coach, this, in all honesty, was not his worst decision. Yeah, from the naked eye, benching a perennial MVP candidate in an Olympic game is an absolutely mind-boggling decision, but everybody that played over him, except for one guy that we'll get into a little bit, proved why they belong in the rotation. Kevin Durant returned and played out of his mind. The country's all-time leading scorer came back and dropped 23 points on almost perfect shooting. Do you think Jayson Tatum should have played over him? I mean, All-NBA guard Tyrese Halliburton hadn't played in a few games, yet people are making a massive deal out of Tatum not playing. Even the man himself isn't freaking out about this as much as the media is. Jayson Tatum told reporters that his DNP, and I quote, is a unique decision and that it's not about one individual player. When he was then asked about his thoughts on the DNP, Tatum responded by saying this: you win a championship, get a new contract, the NBA 2K25 cover, Sports Illustrated, etc., etc. So after all this, it's definitely a humbling experience. After seeing Tatum talk about how humble he felt about not playing against Serbia, it's clear that he just wants to participate on a winning basketball team. Clearly, beating Dallas in the NBA Finals wasn't enough for him. He wanted to make an impact for his country. Well, funny enough, the team was just fine without him. As I mentioned before, Team USA absolutely decimated Serbia and by far their most dominant win of the summer. And it was all without their superstar 11th man. Just look at how much fun they were having. They might not even need Jayson Tatum. Well, Steve Kerr sure thinks they do. During that same interview after the Serbia game, Kerr said this about Tatum's playing time.
But that'll change. You know, Jayson's going to play. Every game's going to be different based on matchups.
So after not playing Tatum for 1 minute the game before, Steve Kerr made the executive decision to start him in Team USA's next game versus South Sudan. Kerr came out and said that he not only benched Tatum, but he didn't play him due to the matchup versus Serbia. But I don't know how much I believe that. If you start the guy the literal next game, you clearly think he's one of the best players on your team. And any smart coach wouldn't just decide to not play one of their best players in a crucial Olympic game. Tatum had to have so much motivation going into this game. So surely he went off and proved Steve Kerr wrong, right?
Tatum, open corner, and he missed it.
Okay, maybe benching the guy was the right move. Tatum only played 17 minutes against South Sudan, about 5 of which coming in garbage time, and only scored 4 points on 2 of 4 shooting. He also struggled to get around screens the entire time, leading to open shots for the underdogs. It's really easy for Tatum to look like a superstar when he's the best player on the team, even though 2 Celtics and Drew Holiday and Derek White played significant minutes in both games. But when he's surrounded by generational players like LeBron James and Kevin Durant, he starts to look a bit inferior. I can't believe I'm about to say this, but Colin Cowherd put it best in my opinion.
He's the 3rd best player, the 4th best player. No, he's not. Way at the back of the top 10 players. When you put him around all these alphas, he disappears. he shrinks.
Yes, Jayson Tatum is on the top 10 basketball players in the world list, but he isn't the best at anything. If you want shooting, there's Steph. If you want defense, there's Drew Holiday and Bam Adebayo. If you want playmaking, there's LeBron James. There isn't anything that Jayson Tatum does better than most players on Team USA. On the Celtics, sure, his usage rate is high, and he can take over games with the best of them. But with the way the Team USA roster is built, Jayson Tatum might not even be needed. And I know it sounds insane, but genuinely, if there's one player on the team who doesn't have a defined role, it's Jayson Tatum. But I mean, hey, if I'm Jayson, I'd rather play with no role than be a genuine negative on my team, and that's exactly what Joel Embiid has been.
He was -8 in a game that Team USA won by 26 points. That's legitimately hard to do.
Joel Embiid has been absolutely brutal since putting on a Team USA uniform. He's turning the ball over, he's shooting horribly from the field, and is genuinely the only negative player on this superstar-studded team. Embiid was a ridiculous -8 in only 11 minutes against Serbia, and was legit the only player on the team without a positive plus-minus. Just look at this, Nikola Jokic was absolutely frying him. He wasn't drop-stepping like that against Bam Adebayo and Anthony Davis, that's for sure. Fans everywhere were calling for Embiid's head during this game, and rightfully so. He was absolutely terrible. And lo and behold, the literal next game, right when you thought Joel Embiid would want to clap back and shut up his haters, Embiid not only gets taken out of the starting lineup, but he gets removed from the lineup completely. Yup, it was Embiid's turn for a DNP. And despite him playing horribly over the summer, people still lost their minds. Well, this was the best thing Steve Kerr could have done for this team. Starting Anthony Davis over Embiid not only created much more defensive versatility in the front court, but also provided some much needed speed and athleticism in that first unit. Not only did AD get playing time over Embiid, but Bam Adebayo got the nod as Team USA's backup over the former MVP. And man, did he show out! Bam was easily the best player on the court versus South Sudan. He scored a game-high 18 points, snagged 7 rebounds, got 2 blocks, 1 steal, and even made 2 threes on 80% shooting. Yeah, Bam Adebayo can shoot threes now, and he's still one of the best defenders on the team. People can cry about Embiid not playing all they want, but he was not doing what Bam Adebayo did against South Sudan. Do you want to know what's so crazy about Bam leading the team in scoring? Brian Windhorst had the audacity to tell national TV this.
Tatum's going to be out there. They're going to be switching all those screens, and there may be a guy like Bam Adebayo that gets benched in that game.
Bam was never leaving this lineup. The bench unit of Holiday, White, Edwards, Durant, and Bam is a championship-winning starting 5 in its own right, and Embiid taking Bam's spot in that lineup would only cause problems. Just look at this defense from Bam and Derek White. Embiid is not rotating and guarding the perimeter like that. Bam and Embiid have very different styles of play, and not only does Bam's athletics switch everything style fit better with the team, Bam has just straight up been better so far in every aspect of the game. And it's not like they're missing the free throw production that Embiid is so infamously known for. Kevin Durant put up 14 points with only 2 made shots. Even Derek White, somebody that people complained about making the roster, is heavily outperforming Embiid. He's playing his role perfectly by playing elite defense and making threes, and handling the ball like it's on a string. He's been absolutely fantastic so far, and has been the perfect replacement for Kawhi Leonard. See, at this point, I hate to say this, but Joel Embiid has genuinely brought nothing to the table this summer. But Steve Kerr is still riding with him from here on out. He told reporter Ben Gulliver that he'd be returning to the same starting lineup he used against Serbia: Drew, Booker, LeBron, Steph, and Embiid. In their next game against Puerto Rico, Jayson Tatum has to sit this one out too, right? I mean, who else is gonna sit? It can't be Bam Adebayo. He just earned a secure spot in this rotation. It can't be Derek White for the same reason, and it certainly can't be Kevin Durant. So Tatum has to be the odd man out. Jayson Tatum and Joel Embiid taking turns riding the bench has to be one of the funniest things that could have happened this summer. And it's even funnier because it's making the team better. You have your players that you want to pair together, and I'm sure that Kerr will continue to tweak the lineup a bunch because he wants everybody to feel involved or some sappy story. But this team is looking really good without 2 MVP candidates doing anything. The only player that is set in stone in this rotation and isn't playing well is is Steph Curry. He's put on an absolute brickfest, but it's Stephen Curry. He's always due for a monster game where he scores 25 on 6 of 6 shooting from beyond the arc. If Kerr wants to continue winning basketball games, he will keep up this strategy of limiting those two as much as possible, because everyone else is meshing together beautifully. And I'm sorry to Celtic and Sixers fans, but the less we see of Jayson Tatum and Joel Embiid over the next 4 games, the better. This is their gold medal to lose, and at the very worst, at least they're not going to get a lot of wear and tear on their bodies throughout the summer. Let me know in the comment section down below, what do you guys think about Team USA's basketball run so far? Is there anything in this video that you think I missed? Aside from that, if you think Team USA's men's basketball has been a shit show, at least people are watching the games. The WNBA effectively sabotaged Team USA women's basketball, and out of all of the games that were played in the opening round, Team USA women's has been at an all-time low. They even admit that they messed up, and it's kind of sad to see. We have a whole video on that, and I'll leave it in the end screen for you guys or right in front of you. And aside from that, I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.